Does this count as the things keep happening?
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
I think the dog got word that one of my favorite guitar heroes, Jeff Beck, passed on very recently. So he, of course, had to issue the executive order of
For your schedule.
for the. I was gonna do something else on this one, but we had to do this one because Jeff Beck is the shit.
Yeah, Jeff Beck passed away.
So
Man, not cool.
yeah.
Doesn't exactly happen every Tuesday of the month or anything.
No, and the thing of it was his death was quite sudden too. Like, it wasn't due to some long time battle with
Long
cancer
ailment
or
of
like
failing health.
like
Yeah,
it wasn't a slowly degenerating thing. It was
suddenly contracted something that sounded like bacterial meningitis, I believe so.
Yeah, but yeah, phenomenal guitarist.
Yes, who is Jeff Beck?
Yeah, so he's mostly known for playing guitar for the Yardbirds after Clapton left in March of '65. We actually had a big old time trying to determine where the concentration of Jeff Beck's efforts were.
When he left, yes, I love the Yardbirds, but I don't know every single detail,
Yeah,
info, tidbit
there's a lot to know.
of when Clapton left, when Jeff Beck came in, that has something to do with both of them are on the Doing a Rave Up
Yeah,
album?
the Rave Up album, yeah. So it counts as,
where they weren't done with it when Eric Clapton left
yeah.
or something. Some of that is Jeff Beck.
You'll have a few Claptons and a few Jeffs on that album. But yeah, basically,
1966, and the album that I actually have to get a copy of.
yes, because it's a freaking awesome album.
Over, Under, Sideways, Down, Roger the Engineer. If I ever passed it up in a while, which I don't believe so, but if I ever did, I am stupid for that, because it was awesome.
Would it basically be okay to count it as both of our favorite Yardbirds album without maybe being fully exposed to the entire discography?
When you're going an album at a time,
Yeah, because so far that's my favorite one. And
what the stuff of theirs I actually had on CD from before
yeah,
was just some best ofs, and then what that 5 Live Yardbirds thing is.
oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that whole thing until
So
much recent.
yeah, and then
Awesome stuff.
after that album, they recruited somebody.
Oh, yes, what is our saga that you know Jeff Beck for?
They found some guy to do basses after the original bass left.
Hello, I am just this guy.
Somebody named Jimmels, or not Jimmels, but Jimmy Page.
Jerry Page.
Jerry Page, that's it. Yeah. And
That you
he
learned the saga where he was hired as to be bassist.
yes, originally, and he has a few bass credits on the following albums. But there was on the tour for Over, Under, Upside Down, or Roger the Engineer.
Summer of '66.
Be about June or July.
Allegedly, Jeff Beck fell ill for a concert time.
Yeah. So they had to use Jimmy Page
That
for
Jimmy had to fill in for him,
lead guitarist,
which then led to your, gosh, let's use Jimmy Page anyway.
yeah, they found out he was Jimmy Page.
I was just going by when he accepts his Hall of Fame solo award and he says,
They keep me out. They did. I said, fuck them.
was the only thing I was going by.
That's that's quality reference material,
I
but
didn't know enough of. I just lump them in. It's dense enough and large enough influence of the 3 guitar heroes that are in this group
yes,
that when I'm listing off historical guitar hero names, I just say Clapton, Beck, and Page.
yeah, they all count as guitar heroes in their own right. So yeah, so
And he's my favorite of those 3.
yeah,
Because of specific musicality that I don't even know in guitar technique and musicianship, but being the least bad.
Yes.
We don't know his saga of
It's
your regrets of the past and skeletons of your scandals.
part of the.
But out of those three fellas,
I would call it.
Jeff is
What it?
I don't know the least deplorable. From your gossip of the juicy details of personal life.
Maybe not as influenced by like big biz and personality, ego, and just being a more tolerable person.
Quickly released his own solo material. He had those
solo
singles, man, that I believe don't even involve Rod Stewart yet.
Not yet, no.
Tallyman.
Yeah.
And I forgot the other B-sides in them, but it was Tallyman, and what was the other single? Or which was first? Oh yeah, Hi Ho Silver Lining.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Both of those are awesome.
That was
Electrified freaking pop rock tracks. I love that stuff.
But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
After all that is when Beck begins his solo stuff.
Yes, what is Jeff Beck's first album?
In 1968 with Truth.
And did you buy it when you found it at a flea market?
Of course not. No. Why would I?
Remember my problem with Jeff Beck albums?
The problem of...
I purchased the better part of his stuff, of his early solo albums.
Oh, okay.
To give to...
Yeah.
You don't remember this story?
Yeah. To give to...
To intentionally give to man...
The shack holder.
Man that is...
Yeah.
Shack Man.
The Shack Man.
The founder of this channel.
Yep.
The guy that purchased the dog.
We were gonna...
And found him as a cool mascot for us.
We had a lot of them hanging up in the shack.
To start the freaking channel.
Yeah. But that was one of them.
It's this guy Devin.
Yeah.
Remember, we keep saying his name.
Yeah. So...
And you find Jeff Beck stuff.
Hanging... Yeah.
Because of his uncle.
Yeah. Who's,
a patriarchal figure. And this cool... Not really old enough to be boomer. In between boomer and Gen X.
Kind of like, yeah.
Grew up in the 70s man.
Yeah, yeah.
Who passed on the legacy of liking stuff like Jeff Beck.
Cool stuff, yeah.
When you pick him as your favorite Yardbirds guitar hero.
So yeah, if we're going off of that...
that I already owned a copy of Truth. I did a bad job. I am yet again remiss and a bad rock fan. I played that Truth album on the record player all of one time and made the mistake of dismissing most of it with just on the basis of Rod Stewart vocals.
Oh, yes.
This is when Rod Stewart is the lead singer of Jeff Beck.
So
for this album and the next.
This is all conjecture on my side as well. My dad, big Jeff Beck fan. That's where all of these come from. There's a CD stack that is somewhere
right here.
Yeah, so the CD stack back there.
That's what guy we're talking about.
But
for our legacy patriarch,
there may have been a copy of Truth in the album collection, but it may have been put in a garage sale either before I was born or when I was very young.
Who knows?
Maybe at the behest
whether or not the guy, maybe at the what?
Maybe further influenced by my mom wanting it in the garage sale because she wasn't a big Rod Stewart fan either.
Who knows whether or not he owned those first two solo albums. Anyway,
but
back a decade or so ago when I still looked for stuff at flea markets more often, I purchased every 70s Jeff Beck album I found.
Yeah, it's
and 68 and 69. Or wait, no, I never found Beckola.
No.
But, yes, this guy kept getting free vinyl copies of
we're both remiss on Beck Ola.
Truth and Name. After I listened to them, which ones did I get in? The thing with the orange.
Truth, the Jeff
Beck Group, 72.
Album. It was Rough and Ready.
It's down here.
And this one.
No, that's one of those that the guy gave me for free that I completely forgot existed after listening to it once when I was 18.
Yeah.
I dropped the ball on.
That's one of them.
Jeff Beck Fanhood.
That's one of them, though.
It's different copy. Mine is still in his storage somewhere in a freaking frame.
Yeah.
Backwards to show this.
Oh, yeah.
With Beck Bogert and Appice.
That picture is awesome.
Totally freaking cool.
But yeah.
Great version of Stevie Wonder. Superstitious.
Yes. That's an awesome version. But yeah, I found Truth to be good albums. It's great. There's
Yes, listen again. Always go back and use them, even if you don't like Rod Stewart.
Plenty of rock and roll.
Because at that point I was like, well, his voice sounds enough like, what's his name? Free, Paul Rogers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Maybe not to claim as an influence from. But yeah,
Right.
I listened to it again and I was like, no, that's not that bad. That's the Rod Stewart that was actually cool
Yeah.
before Faces and when I don't like him.
Yeah, if you ask me that 70s Rod Stewart can be a thing.
It's Jeff Beck.
But yeah.
He does his Jeff Beck stuff with your loud things.
Yep.
Keeping on going. There was no rhythm guitarist.
Some great...
It was just him, Rod DeMod, Ronnie Wood on bass, and Drummer Man.
Yeah. And
so he doesn't disappoint on all the great licks.
It's the one...
your hard tones.
Yeah, it's the one with Beck's Bolero on it.
There is a You Shook Me.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the new Yardbirds.
None at all. Nothing.
Or at least album-wise. It came out before Led Zeppelin's version of You Shook Me.
Yeah. So, and that's my favorite
Morning Dew
era. Yeah.
Oh, for a blues?
For a blues.
Stand by.
Yep.
This is the one that covers that has a cool version of Morning Dew.
Yeah, it's got Morning Dew. It's just
that I first heard the Mick Ronson version. It was basically a cover of that exact same treatment because Mick Ronson idolized Jeffy.
Yes, sir. You'll find that among a lot of people actually idolized Jeff Beck. Pretty influential. But yeah,
I like that first album.
Yep. And yeah, then after that, starting with Beck Ola, was he in 1969. Mm-hmm. I think he found like a group of session musicians that he really liked performing with.
It still had Rod Stewart.
But yeah. But
was he still with Ronnie Wood for a bassist?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, so but they
yeah, that's the one I've never even heard one time.
They swapped out, I think, the drummer and got the one guy you would probably find on
it involves fruit. There's an apple.
There's an apple.
And then confuses you because later there's an orange.
Yep. They put a big old apple on the front of the album cover, and that one's called Beck Ola. And they changed the name to the Jeff Beck Group. I don't know if you're supposed to say the or if it's just Jeff Beck Group, but yeah, so for Beck Ola...
I thought they used that name for Beck Ola also.
Yeah, they did.
Starting with the 69.
It starts with Beck Ola, and this one, Beck Ola, of course, I'm also woefully remiss on because I don't think I've ever heard it. I just know the album name. So I didn't even do a crash course on that. That's the other one that Dad didn't own. So, but I'd imagine it would fall in line with a lot of the
yeah, it can
material.
just be grandfathered in.
So it would, yeah. But starting with Rough and Ready, which is what he's got there.
Cozy Powell. Look at our...
Yes.
Look at our almost Jeff Beck
Yeah,
man.
and when I was a kid,
That ends up being Cozy Powell.
see, that's the thing is when I was a kid, I would get those two confused all the time.
Mix him up with Boz Skaggs.
And-
Yeah, it's even more because at first, when you don't know, you're like, yes, that is that is wrongly and incorrectly
Yeah, but the fun thing is,
Jeff mate.
and it took me until just today to realize this, they give you the answer sheet on the back of the album. Like they give you, yeah, that's Cozy Powell.
Yeah, singer Bob Tench.
It took me about 20 years, 25 years to pay attention to the back of the album.
And the rest of our...
Yes.
And as usual, you assume that his bandmates for whatever project are cream of the crop on
Oh, yeah. They're,
for musicianship.
they're all amazing players. But yeah, this album here it starts off with Got the Feeling, which is not only a phenomenal track in its own right, but it starts off with a killer drum fill. One of the handful of tracks I can honestly say that's a memorable drum fill that it starts off.
Yeah.
Back when I was growing up, we would hear all of these Jeff Beck tracks through the big sound system at the house. So
Oh yes, don't forget that.
yeah,
Yes, when it's coming up from the basement,
Do
you
I
better
get to-
believe it's definitely coming up from the
I
basement.
get to use the term coming up from the basement again. So
in
yeah.
your theater sound.
The
Yes.
sound is coming up through the basement. But yeah, it's with this one track, you kind of start to get that inkling of funk.
Oh,
That Jeff
yes.
was
What was our yes in the tracing his
So yeah,
different usage of his career? What was it? Can that be called the
the genesis or the first time
possible earliest iteration of the funk feel
the funk feel? Yeah,
as he goes on to do more jazz funk,
he'll start doing more of that later.
mellow groove?
And
That's what, Rough and Ready?
yes,
Or what's our is this the one that's just called Jeff Beck Groove?
That is the one
yes,
called
that's
Jeff
your
Beck.
orange peel.
yeah. So
And the other one that I
the
got for
yeah.
the head of the project.
There was a vinyl of that in the shack.
Don
That was quite
Hicks.
awesome.
You still got Bob Tench, Max Middleton? Okay.
Yep, he's sticking with his gang here. But yeah, so with these two albums here, it's a good blend of
His blues heroics.
blues, rock, and again that inkling of funk. So that's the thing I liked about Jeff Beck through the entire material is that it's got a diverse like musical palette, I guess you would call it, where he can pick and choose and do expertly basically. So
He didn't get altogether pigeonholed on
yeah, so
blues soloing
yep, so he was able to do
and
a little bit of everything.
nimble technique of
Yeah, you all
your subtleties.
you all already saw the Beck, Bogert, and
Just 1972,
yeah,
and your rule of 72 is when Beck, Bogert, and Appice
yep, the Beck,
were
Bogert,
formed.
Appice album. This
That thing was released in 73. That's awesome.
grab both of them. That's funny.
And
Yes.
there's great stuff to be looked up on YouTube live-wise
Yep.
for Beck, Bogert, and Appice.
Yeah, the fun thing about this particular lineup here is they only had 2 albums. This is the one studio album.
Oh, barely two. Yeah.
And that other live album that was a limited run only in Japan because the concert happened in Japan. But it kicks
Yeah.
ass.
At least we're not hurting on
People,
live recordings that have been uploaded. To
yeah, people have posted that to YouTube since. The internet's been great. But I kind of factor this album as like not very notable, except for Black Cat Moan, which starts off with a killer guitar riff, and
Superstition.
Lady and Superstition. Yeah. Can't
Not very many aside from those.
the maybe half. Half of the album. So
Vanilla Fudge and Cactus. Hard rock.
yeah.
But they weren't incapable when it came to
Yeah.
supplying more of a, what did we call it? Jazz funk groove.
Yeah. They could
They
still.
could do that type of stuff.
They could. Yeah.
I think there was at least one person that claimed that was their all-time favorite of Jeff Beck's material was with
Yeah. Yeah, that made. Yeah.
the folks down at Vanilla Fudge / Cactus.
User. Yeah. But yeah.
Went through what, 74?
Went through 74. I don't think.
Get blow by blow.
Yeah, that album came out in 75, I think. So. But yeah. Everybody says.
Hey, you gave one away twice. Counting his copy that I bought for him. This was one of those ones for free
Oh,
that I didn't even have the
where'd the
teenage 18-year-old me didn't have the ear for.
right? Where did
That was waiting for more hard hitting
where'd the other copy go?
musics of guitar heroism.
Okay.
Where'd what other copy go?
Oh, I heard word of 2 copies, but yeah.
My ones that the
Yeah.
dude gave me for free when I was 18
Oh yes, that's it.
was Rough and Ready,
Yeah.
Blow by Blow,
Okay.
and I believe that was it.
All right. Yeah.
And my dumbass gave them away too.
So everybody says that this is like quintessential classic
Yeah,
Jeff Beck.
is it acclaimed as
One of the highest acclaimed ones
his
by numbers.
magnum opus of at least of the 70s?
By numbers anyway. I don't see what the big deal is about this album. That's not to say it sucks, because this album is awesome. But I'm like, there are better albums to pick from than this. But I guess whenever you're starting to incorporate one additional element in your music, because by then this would be I guess regarded as one of the pioneering fusion music albums, where you're supposed to blend blues, rock, jazz,
Oh,
funk.
yeah. I think that's what they're talking about.
A little bit of rhythm.
Is this the finest example of our?
There's a lot there.
of our jazz fusion or jazz funk.
Yeah, but the thing is I guess
Max Middleton.
the thing that I kind of makes me say, you know, what's so great about this is there's not a lot that stands out to me.
Is it a production masterpiece?
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Well, I've never read anything about it. Yeah, that's what I vaguely remember.
Like, production is top
Was
notch.
that well, it says George Martin.
Yeah, he was.
Who's George Martin?
I think he
That's
was.
not the Beatles guy, is it?
I don't.
Well, anyway, that's your blow by blow
Yeah.
and the appeal of it.
So
He's keeping on.
yeah, not exactly.
Classic run of old Jeffy.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, not saying it sucks, but it just doesn't jump out to me as quintessential Beck. So, but
I
now.
promise to listen to it again.
Now.
Sorry for giving it away.
The one thing I will say about the last track on that album, Scatterbrain, it does go fast. It's a fast song. So like, you're grooving along, and then all of a sudden you got to groove a little faster. It's like this, where normally you're like this, then it goes up. So
Especially if the rest is counts as possibly too slow.
yeah. But yes, the following year, 1976. We get Wired.
Again, a pretty iconic image.
Yes.
I had forgotten whether or not I even gave that to
This
Devin.
this counts as my third
And your
favorite.
cool picture. Yes, what
Beck.
stands out about the 76 album?
So this represents great forward thinking in the form of incorporating Jan Hammer into your production. You get the Jan Hammer synthesizers.
Are you talking about that Jan guy?
Yeah.
Yes. Involves the one and only Jan
The
from your Jan Hammer stuff.
the Miami Vice man.
Yeah.
Is who is on this, and
And he's not just producer or something.
No.
He plays keyboards.
He gets keyboard billing in about half of these songs. So, and you really do feel it.
Oh, that doesn't even matter.
Because not only...
Hey, when I was remiss in my research and re-listenings that I don't believe I've ever even freaking heard.
Yeah.
Just read the back of that and you're like, yes!
Yeah,
that counts as awesome anyway.
Yeah, he's there, and like 5 or 6 of the 8 songs on here. And the thing of it is, this album here kind of, it has that ahead of its time vibe.
Good.
I mean, because it's Jeff Beck. You can bet that the guitar playing is pretty damn awesome on this, but the perfect blends of Jan Hammer and Jeff Beck are realized in the Lead Boots song, which kicks off side A, and then you kick off side B with Blue Wind, where it's literally just Jeff Beck and Jan Hammer.
Was that the thing where there's no vocalist?
Yeah.
These are all instrumentals?
These are all instrumentals.
Okay. So. How does it figure in style-wise and feel-wise in your grooves? Does it still have the jazz funk?
Yes, there is a little.
I doubt it would be a complete departure. But what's our synthesizers?
The synthesizers sound pretty period appropriate. It would basically be like the Miami Vice theme, but played on earlier synthesizers at the time. Plenty of Moog usage. Plenty of.
Well, that's the thing. You got to differentiate between prog and anything that would count as going into new wave or whatever.
Yeah. So I would say more prog.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Jan. Did Jan just do stuff that always sounded new wavy? And what later became 80s typical?
Yeah.
Like Miami Vice?
But yeah, because this came out in 76, it would be, that's what makes this notable, is early Jan, as well as...
yep, now I gotta go back and learn about Jan.
Just sheer, yeah. So, again, this album is freaking amazing. And
it's called Wired?
It's called Wired, yeah. So
it's a reference to having to plug the Moog things in?
Oh, you gotta plug everything.
Your pickups, the
guitar, you gotta plug in the guitar, you gotta plug in the synthesizers.
Yeah, he's never used an electric guitar before. I just think of the Moog, Keith Emerson Moog where he's like...
Yeah.
It's like a telephone operator.
Yeah, where you're switching them live during the set, yeah. So, the other good thing about Jeff Beck is that he's not cranking them out. You don't get one every year or so. You kind of just get one whenever you feel like it.
You basically were up through that.
Yeah, but he decides...
You get the great gaps. Was this our first gap? I think so. I think that thing is from 1980.
Yeah, he decides to slow down. You get some... You may have gotten some live stuff during the late 70s.
Conspicuous.
But,
in your currents.
Yeah.
But what did we say about...
This here is called...
The There and Back album?
There and Back, which you'd never know just by looking at the front. You'd be like, oh, the album's called Jeff Beck, okay.
Would have fooled me, by golly.
But yeah, you look at the sides there and it's like, oh, There and Back. Yeah, but this,
Can't believe you didn't call it There and Back.
Yeah, that was a huge missed opportunity. Yeah. Yes. So
yeah, he comes in at the end of funk, new wave, power pop days.
Yep. And this
very beginning of the 80s to kick off the 80s with what? That's another one I've never even heard.
This counts as kind of like a return, kind of like a back to basics rock album. It
doesn't have the jazz funk?
Not as much, no. It counts as a rocker. But it also has yawning in, so...
Oh, good.
You know it's going to place high on...
give him the benefit.
Mine, but you feel more of the Jeff Beck rock orientation in this. Or the rock element, instead of instead of the perfect blend of Jan and
As opposed to going further out.
Yeah, so that to me gives this album plenty of awesomeness and appreciation. If you want to rock out again, you can
It's not the opposite direction on that spectrum, at least.
No. Where you're venturing into like new age and synth pop and all that. It's not that. No. So back to basic. This is blues. It's rock. A little bit of Jan. So that's what makes this album awesome. My favorite on here is called Space Boogie. Because it's
another boogie. Okay.
Because it's a boogie that was written in 1980. That's how Back to Basics this actually is. But also, the first track, Star Cycle, it's another good one because it's more of a rocker, but you still get what you would call plenty of Jan influence. So,
at this point, I don't know what counts as a less solid entry.
Yes.
As long as it's got your Jeff Beck-isms. The high-flying, nice and loud.
Yeah.
Riffing / soloing of the being all over the neck.
Yeah.
Technique.
As long as it involves a Jeff Beck technique.
And your technique. Yeah, for technique purposes.
That's a beautiful thing. But can I be allowed to help you define what a bad Jeff Beck album might be without ever listening to it in the first place?
No!
Because during my crash course of this morning, because I admittedly don't have or have never heard this next one.
Oh, maybe you were subconsciously blocking it out.
Well, that's the thing though. As a fan of 80s music...
This is the part of his career I care a lot less about.
So,
but apparently there was an 85.
Yeah, we get a 5-year hiatus
entry
here, and
for your gaps. He skipped all of the early 80s. That's kind of interesting.
But yeah, we get one called Flash from 1985. So the name.
Gosh, Jeff, there was a group called Flash with a Guitar Hero man.
Yeah,
Peter Banks.
Not only that, but it's like probably the most 80s name for an album you can think of. Just the word Flash.
Flash was 1972 and 73.
But
Peter Banks.
Yeah, but like the name, like I'll have to put up a picture of the album cover on screen because that album cover is pretty Canadian-ish.
80s?
Yes.
Bikini girl in is she wearing giant glasses with I don't know, maybe a palm tree behind her?
Well, it's not as cool as actually what you're thinking of. There's not a single girl on the front of the album.
It's a photograph of him wearing a jacket?
On the leisure jacket, yeah.
Okay.
So...
Because it seems like you're saying what always the question is when a guy known from 60s and 70s does an 80s entry like this, is it going to have those lame big drums? Is it going to have the idiotic big sound that was for some reason the of a necessity?
And
wait, those do have?
They do exist.
Or I mean, they are in? Okay.
You get plenty of loud synthesizers.
I feel like I could laugh at least.
You get the reverbed big drums, the big guitar sound, which with Jeff Beck you can kind of be allowed to have a big guitar sound, but it shouldn't sound as 80s as it actually does in the album. But I theorize that I have never seen or heard this album because my dad was not a fan of that type of music, like the 80s pop music, and was just like,
now this is not coming from the basement.
And yeah, that's if I would have put that album on without letting him see the album sleeve, he would have been like, what the hell is this? Surely this is not Jeff Beck.
Well,
but as it turns out, it actually
blindly follow the times.
Maybe he had the same producers as
you can't laugh at it.
ELP.
I like orchestral stabs.
I mean, as a fan of 80s music, I have to like it.
I want to laugh.
Because it's got all the 80s tropes, but it's Jeff Beck doing them. So I don't know how to feel about that. So, but yeah, so we can just go on from album, Flash, to 1989. He took a nice 4-year break again. And we got Jeff Beck's Guitar Shop, which I actually...
That's the name of that?
Yeah, Jeff Beck's Guitar Shop. And I actually like this album.
The mechanic shop.
Yeah.
Also for a title.
Yes. Yeah, I actually...
He's working on a giant wrong item.
It's a very, that's a very big
It's
guitar.
not the wrong item. That's the right one.
How are you supposed to play that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's doo-dee-doo.
That's like a 30-foot tall guitar.
Working on a guitar for King Kong or something.
But yeah.
And this is considered back on track.
Yes.
We're back to solid entries.
This counts as a solid rocker. In the grand scheme of music history, it's 1989, so it's too early for Nirvana and grunge to change the world.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
So you do get
Released that at the end of the 80s.
Yeah, it's still
On the cusp of.
Yeah, it's still the 80s.
Does it have the crap big sound?
You'll still get
and those things.
Yeah, you'll still get that because it's still the 80s. But
it's still the 80s.
They tempered it down a lot and they made it rock. Like this is a solid entry. I'm a big fan of especially the title track, Guitar Shop, how they were able to integrate shop sounds into a beat for the music.
Oh, nice.
So you hear the guy drumming along and you literally hear Jeff Beck working on the guitar as he's playing it. So, but yeah, Savoy, the second song on here, Savoy, has a kick-ass guitar riff, and let's see, the song A Day in the House, which might be as you think, where a British person has to complain about a house, being the house of like commons and lords and stuff, where they, for the intro, they play a bunch of animal noises and old people complaining.
That's funny.
And they start it off. Like, this is...
It's a literal house.
Yeah.
The
house.
Literal house.
Yeah, but, yeah, I don't
know. He
know.
continues to put out what's called good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good.
What they are, CDs.
Yeah. But, yeah, so after this, you get not 5, yet 10-year hiatus on this. We're going from 89.
Yeah. I don't know what to... Definitely not going to say you should have, gosh man, you should have put out more.
Yeah, but... yeah,
nice compromise between being gone for a few years at a time?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, wait, this is our 90s, yes?
Yes.
So again, he kind of hung back and
he kind of
waited to do an album for the trends to blow over.
Yeah, so
grunge.
In this period of time, you had the 90s. So you had grunge, the post-grunge butt rock,
the new-news, the swing dancing, the ska revival.
Basically, all the things that we listed off in our 90s.
BSB, yeah.
Yeah, and 99 comes up, and you get this joint. Who else? Which, I mean...
Good computer font.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck.
Yeah. So, this kind of took me by surprise, and by that I mean... This is the first Jeff Beck album I was ever exposed to.
Oh.
Because I was like, why is Dad listening to this? Because it was, a lot of the stylings of this album was synonymous with stuff that Dad didn't exactly like. Like, in this album, you have a little bit of a techno underpinning.
Oh, this is the beginning of our beats?
With the beats, yeah. So, it rocks, don't get me wrong, but you're starting to get that electronic influence. Another great thing, the Jeff Beck diversity in sound just keeps going.
Yes, I vaguely remember the use of some dance mixes,
but
while he is totally ramming out. I love the riff on that one.
Yes.
That's sadly not even him playing.
See, and
on that studio version included.
But yeah,
with the girl from Michael Jackson's group.
Yes, sir. But yeah.
Anyway, that track is freaking cool.
Yeah, it's a bitchin' track, and that's the thing is like, Dad handed me this album and he was like, yeah, it's Jeff Beck, and then I was like, this is a cool album, but I didn't do any research on who Jeff Beck was, so to find out maybe about 10 years ago that he was this 70s guy doing stuff like this just blew my mind back then. So, but yeah,
hottest DJ in the land.
Can spin with the best of them. He
and the glow sticks, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he's Psycho Sam is another good track on here. Another just guitar ram session, well produced. Hypnotica, that's one I always play. I remember playing on my iPod back in the day, and yeah, just all in all, it's a good blend of.
Oh, as long as there's more than 2 good songs on it.
Yeah, it's
enough to keep the CD.
I call it the good blend 2.0, where it's some good aggressive guitar playing and the techno, the EDM, the electronics. So, unlike years past, you don't have to wait long for the next entry. With You Had It Coming, which came out in 2000. So, this is the album with the kind of disease.
Y2K.
Yeah. It's right in the middle of darn new metal and the Limp Bizkits in them. And I don't know if you feel like he had to make the album more aggressive, but that opening track on this album, let's just say, took me by surprise again. Because I'm like, wait a minute. The same dude that did the cool electronic groove on this is the same guy that wrote Earthquake.
Was this the industrial metal thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was pretty insane to think about, because I let this one sit on the shelf for another like 2 to 3 years after discovering this, but when I first put this in, again, I was blown away. So, but yeah, this one's got Earthquake. I'd say he probably turned up the aggression on this album. He was trying to appeal to the kids that were blaring out the Limp Bizkits and the new news of the time by amping it up, but
yeah, it's at least nice heavy guitars.
Yeah, we got the loud beats again, and yeah, so I liked it. But yeah, you get about.
Took it to 11. Oh wait, don't forget, we have to point out yet another example of his greatness / influence or whatever. The Nigel, Spinal Tap.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I've never seen that movie. Christopher Guest, the guy that's Nigel Tufnell on Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
You go back and you watch some 70s Jeff Beck footage.
Yes.
Of interviews or whatever, not of him playing, but of him sitting there talking, chewing his gum.
Yeah.
And it's you can tell that Christopher Guest man was going by 70s rock star man Jeff Beck.
Yes, sir.
Chewing that freaking gum.
Oh yeah.
Working overtime chewing gum like Ted Nugent. I love that crap. That's funny as hell.
Oh man.
In how many you still get,
Yes.
aside from the Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Are we gonna ignore his collaboration with?
Yeah. That can be. Yeah. But yeah, you still get 3 more in total. 2003, he has you wait for like 2 to 3 years, in an album simply called Jeff. That's awesome.
Yes, it wouldn't be a solo album career without an album just called Jeff.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to, took about, he had to get well established in his career before he could do something like that. But yeah, 2003, my crash course listening to this, because Dad did not have this album, there was a lot of hard, aggressive rock again. And he kind of leaned more into the electronic sound than You Had It Coming, but not as much. So you have your extremes, and then you have Jeff in the middle. But it is it's a solid rocker all the same. He never had an issue opening albums, like starting them off. So I could basically recommend the first song on all of these albums. But yeah, you wait another 7 years until 2010 to get Emotion and Commotion, which is...
I still feel pretty good about this whole making you wait thing.
Yeah. It's... Sometimes he'll make you wait longer, but by and large...
Regardless of quality.
Yeah. To me,
you'll get a denser run, and then he'll make you wait. That's what?
He'll just do whatever.
2010.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is the thing with the, what was it?
Yes.
Theme from Wizard of Oz.
Yes. You
Treatment.
had one of those. You had that song, as well as, that... I am about to take back I can recommend all the openers on I just said, because this one, you have to be in the mood. If you're in a David Gilmour type of fashion, you'll appreciate this album, especially with the opener, because...
let's go ahead and just chalk that back to...
I could have had it...
The Jeff Beck diversity and...
Yeah.
And willingness to change.
He can do... Yeah. It's another extension to the spectrum of which he can write stuff. But yeah, after the slower, more meaningful, impactful intro first song, you start getting back to the rockers. So it's not all slow stuff. So, and then we play the waiting game for another 6 years when you get Loud Hailer, which I have yet to listen to because I didn't even know there was an album in 2016. So that'll, of course, probably have to maybe have a follow-up video.
Usage?
But yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should have just done a part 2.
So...
I thought he had more than that, though. As a person who never pushed the wiki button and didn't know all of these, especially of his later... I don't know any of that. I kept thinking he made like... It was one of those guys that made one every year and has like 40 of them.
Yeah, it's I would say that. So
you get a nice balance of a bunch, yet
part of the
not wear you out with.
Yeah.
With
it's not like
your plate being too full.
Yeah, it's not like with Joe Satriani, where like there's like 25 million Joe Satriani albums. Because starting in about 85 or so, he had to crank one out once every couple years or so. So, not quite like that, but yeah. I have yet to listen to Loud Hailer. Based on the front cover, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good, because I remember seeing the front cover. It's got a pretty big icon of a microphone in front of it, so it might be more politically charged.
Or he's just working on a giant microphone.
That's another one too. Yeah, maybe it's part of the loud, distorted vocal trend of like the 2010s. That was a thing. So,
and that's the only other one he did?
That's his last album.
With another gap. Of course, now you look back and say, gosh, I wish there would have been one more.
Yeah.
After this
Which
6 to 7 year gap of right up until the end of it all.
Yeah, that's the last solo studio album. The last actual effort was the 18 collaboration album with Johnny.
Oh wait, yes, that counts as 2022.
But
Yeah, that was quite recent.
yeah,
Johnny Depp.
yeah. Which I had no idea he even did music, so that'll be something interesting to listen to.
Is it under Hollywood Vampires? Well, we knew he was in that group. They're called the Hollywood Vampires.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Or is
even...
it just under the name Johnny Depp?
It's under the name Johnny Depp.
It's called
18.
Johnny Depp with Jeff Beck.
Yeah,
The name of the artist / group
yeah. It's
is called Johnny
Johnny Depp with
Jimmy.
Dirt.
I can't say bad stuff about him.
No,
Like even when I try to criticize
no.
Jeff Beck,
Yeah, I like every.
it's too. He's too respectable.
It's hard for me to press the skip button on any of his albums. I'll have to be not in the mood to hear a slow thing to skip a handful of slow songs that he made. But
Well, I don't count as a major fanatic, but I'll definitely say I don't see terrible long chunks of his career as
No.
bad.
No, yeah, it's all
He's stayed awesome.
yeah,
He still looked like a complete rock star.
yeah. He did.
All those decades,
He never cut his hair.
60 freaking years.
Yeah,
He
never gained weight.
he didn't get fat. Well, he kept his hair.
Yeah,
Not that he didn't cut it, it's that he didn't lose it.
or yeah, he didn't cut it.
It's a man with all of his hair, and he's
Yeah.
like a 75-year-old man.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
And
honestly.
he's still up there rocking.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what difference a haircut would have made.
So, but yeah,
It's this great rock star man,
yep.
decade in and decade out.
Decade, yeah, able to change with the times and add just
And
keep,
like I say, my favorite one of the Yardbirds triad.
yeah,
Yeah, and at least he didn't stay completely static with
yeah,
blues solos.
yeah. That's my favorite part about Jeff Beck.
Or
Yeah.
going like that on the neck for more than a solid minute.
Yeah,
Remember that, actually I believe it was I'm a Man. It was Yardbirds' I'm a Man.
Really?
Dynamic as the guitarist of the Yardbirds with Keith Relf,
yeah,
who wants to compete against you with his harmonica,
yep,
or maybe do some call and response with vocals.
just
They're on this black and white TV show appearance, and Jeff Beck is doing neat things with a, what that's called, bottleneck, the slide guitar thing on your finger,
Yeah, guitar slide.
and
yeah.
doing different stuff, and then goes into his heroics on the neck.
And then
That's the only other iteration I've seen of that.
yes, he does.
Aside from Mick Ronson on that David Bowie concert,
Yeah,
who idolized Jeff Beck. But yeah, he's just going
there's yeah,
with his neck hand,
yes sir.
and then goes up like this and sets the guitar down on top of the amp.
Still doing
Awesome.
it. Yeah, it's totally awesome. So
That is rock concentrate.
yeah, but yeah. So again, lifetime Jeff Beck fan. I can see myself listening to these for freaking ever. So.
He's in the Hall of Fame twice
Yep,
for Yardbirds and for these
and for his
solo albums.
own albums. Yeah. So
Will be sorely missed.
yes.
I am genuinely dismayed that there aren't going to be any other
Yeah.
entries,
Yep.
be it after each 1 or 2 year, or
Yeah.
after a 7 to 10 year gap.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they used everything they recorded. So, but yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going to miss
Yeah, we'll miss Jeff.
old Jeffy.